Thank you all for coming today. As you all know, we're here today to announce Nicole David's candidacy for U.S. Senate to replace Barbara Boxer. My name is Chabot. I'm the executive director of the San Francisco Estuary Institute. I'm not a professional speaker, so I'm going to cheat and use notes, along with a few other people here who are a lot more accomplished, like Congresswoman Speier and Lenny Roberts. I've been involved in coast, ocean, environmental politics and policy for more years than I want to admit, back when I had hair. For these reasons, Nicole, in a decision she's probably already regretting, has asked me to sort of MC today's event. Actually, we are here today with Congresswoman Speier to swear in Nicole David as your newly elected Harbor Commissioner. You can applaud. All of you who are here today have at least two things in common. One, you're smart enough to schedule events around the football playoff game so we can do this event and have our celebration and watch playoff for those who are football junkies. Two, probably more importantly and seriously, you respect and honor the importance of public government service, a profession that pays little, demands a lot, and really does justify the term public service. And today Nicole joins that honored profession. So we're especially grateful to all of you who came out this morning, especially those of you with various arrows protruding from various extremities as the price of elected leadership. That includes Congresswoman Speier, San Mateo County Supervisor Dave Pine, Belmont City Council Member Charles Stone, Brisbane Mayor Pro Tem Cliff Lentz, Brisbane City Council Member Lori Liu, Half Moon Bay City Council Member Deborah Ruddick and Deborah Penrose, San Mateo County Harbor Commissioner Tom Matoush, San Mateo County Harbor Commissioner Sabrina Brennan, and Burlingame Mayor Terry Nagel. Thank you all for joining us. I am the executive director of the San Francisco Estuary Institute. Many of you may not know what that is. It is an organization that has been around for 20 years. It's a group of about 50 scientists and experts who work to provide monitoring and science and analytic tools to local, state, and federal officials who manage our marine and coastal and aquatic habitats. We try to provide the science and the facts so people like Jackie and the long list of names that I mentioned can make good, tough decisions based on solid science and good facts that's available to the public at large. Our goal is to improve the water quality and the health of our bay and estuary and ocean resources. Our mutual goal with all of our partners is to make our local waters safe to swim, safe to drink, safe for wildlife, and for some certain less fortunate fish and wildlife, safe for us to eat them. Now, as a marine biologist and environmental scientist, and as an avid ocean swimmer, Nicole takes the concept of getting close to her wildlife clients, frankly, a little bit to the extreme. Now, in most cases, interesting enough, for elected officials, probably the last word on planet Earth you ever want inserted into a sentence next to your name is the word extreme, unless you're Nicole David. For Nicole, her unique and some would say extreme passion and commitment to ocean swimming has proven to be, I think, of significant political value. Now, I confess to being about a 30-40 year addiction as a political junkie. I've either worked on or managed political campaigns over ever since the early 70s, and yet I want to say that I was frankly blown away by Nicole's 30-second ocean swimming campaign spot on our campaign's website, which is still up. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you probably have, NicoleDavid.org. It is, in my opinion, one of the most impressive, low-budget, high-impact, powerfully effective campaign commercials of all time. I think credit goes to her son as a graphic designer and to the concept of Nicole and her husband who put it together. So I think it's a brilliant piece that demonstrates her passion and commitment to the ocean and the environment and to public service, and should be seen by all people that do political campaign commercials. At the San Francisco Estuary Institute, Nicole is a soft-spoken yet highly competent and marine biologist and environmental scientist. She's focused on the intensive human use of our threatened ecosystem. She leads and contributes to critical watershed projects affecting the bay and the ocean. Her research helps us with resource managers and elected officials to evaluate and set policy on contamination and stormwater runoff, both in agriculture and urban areas. So frankly, what makes her work, frankly, this commitment here at the Estuary Institute also makes her basically a 60-hour employee of the Harbor District, because she's thinking about the quality of your waters 10 hours a day. So we're lucky to have her, and I'm grateful that the wise citizens of San Mateo wisely chose to elect her as their Harbor Commissioner. So speaking of people who put in long hours, Congresswoman Jackie Speier generously offered to come over and administer the oath of office. This is frankly typical for Jackie, who puts in 80-hour weeks as just a normal cost of doing work. Some of us have had the pleasure of working with Jackie. That was from everything from the early 80s when she was the youngest elected member of the San Mateo Board of Supervisors, to the 20 years she served in the state legislature as an assemblywoman and senator, to the last 6 years that she's worked as a congresswoman. We all know that probably one phrase that will never be seen in the same sentence with the word Jackie Speier is the word underachiever. I experienced that myself probably in the early 80s when Jackie, along with sort of a coalition of salmon fishermen, coastal businesses, conservation champions like Lenny Roberts, and another somewhat underachiever by the name of Leon Panetta, worked to crush the dreams of then Interior Secretary James Watt, then Donald Hodel, and President Reagan to auction the San Mateo coast, and frankly the rest of the coast of America, to Exxon, Chevron, Shell, and everybody else. And if it wasn't for the work that Jackie and others did in those early 80s, you would be looking at oil rigs behind me, and we'd be in the Halliburton oil service support fort. So, since we're kind of among friends here, I talked to a few friends, and we promised not to talk about any of Jackie's scandals. We won't even get into her illicit, explicit, 30-year, very public love affair with the coast. We won't talk about her obsession with Farm Day. We won't talk about her obsession with all things salmon, from salmon fillets, to salmon fishermen, to the salmon fishing industry, to the salmon fishing boats in the harbors, to, by the time she became a congresswoman, a salmon summit with Congressman Thompson. So I don't know if Jackie's looked at her poll numbers. They kind of go up and down with the salmon. They're kind of happy for the population to go up, not too happy with the fact that they get eaten. I don't know about the halibut, you know, they're a little worried here. We know that Jackie had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that last year redistricting somehow magically, Jackie got the coast. So even though that was entirely a citizens commission that made the decision, one of the factors that the Citizens Commission made in doing redistricting was to look at areas of common interest, and I think they came to the conclusion that the proper redistricting of this district should include a much larger section of the coast, and I think you benefited from somebody who has a long-term commitment. So today is about Nicole David, so I won't talk about Jackie's leadership on consumer affairs, women's rights, transportation, or 20 other issues. So with no further ado, I'm out of paper. I'm going to hand it over to Jackie.
So, Warner, it's great to reconnect with you. We, as he mentioned, were spending time together in the early 80s when we both had dark hair. And we both had more hair, actually. But anyway, that was outstanding. That was outstanding. And I think that your tribute to Nicole is something that I'm glad you have on video, Nicole, because there are going to be many days and nights when you return from a Harbor Commission meeting when you're going to be pulling out your hair and wondering why you're doing this. And then I want you to review the video and what Warner said about your sterling credentials and passion for the coast and all things water. Congratulations to all of you for helping to elect Nicole David to the Harbor Commission. I think we all appreciate that this is indeed a very important function, and that we want people in this function that are going to do the people's work. and I have every confidence that Nicole is going to do just that. I know that Dave Pine is here. Dave, stand up so we can say hello to you. I see your son is with you too. Dave and I have been working now for over a year on the issue of sea level rise and what we are going to do about it here, particularly in San Mateo County, where we are ground zero. We are indeed where you're going to see the most increase in sea level rise on the west coast, if not in the country. So we need to prepare and do something about it. Otherwise, by the end of the century, many of the places that we hold dear on the coast here and on the bayside are going to be underwater. So we have a lot to do. And Dave, thank you for your great leadership on that as well. We are here indeed to swear in Nicole David. And I was sitting here thinking that there's something very special when someone is first elected to a specific office. It is all about hope and dreams and people who feel very committed to that individual, who have really put in long hours, and I know that's probably true of everyone in this room. You worked very hard to make sure that Nicole did get elected, and the result is that she won with your good efforts and her strong credentials. So I want to ask her to come forward now, and I'm going to swear her ceremonially. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Nicole David.
I, Nicole David.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance.
And allegiance.
To the Constitution of the United States.
To the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully.
And that I will well and faithfully.
Discharge the duties.
Discharge the duties.
Upon which I'm about to enter.
Upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Congresswoman Speier, for officiating my oath of office ceremony today. I'm very proud and feel very honored to be sworn into office as New Harbor Commissioner by you, and your presence here today really means very much to me. And I want to also thank you for your caring leadership and for being such an inspiration to San Mateo County. Thank you. Wow, I'm completely blown away. I'm so thrilled that so many of you came out here today to share this moment with me. And when I look around the room, I see so many friends and supporters that I want to thank. But I want to start with thanking the most important person in my life first, my husband Jay. I would not be standing here today as a New Harbor Commissioner without you, without your constant support and love, and without your encouragement and your endless behind-the-scene participation and advice. You really were, you truly are the foundation of my strength, and I could have not gone through this year of campaigning without you by my side. his great artwork and graphic design, for his contributions to my campaign materials and websites. He is a talented young man, and I'm very, very proud of him. And I think he brought some business cards of his own today. If any of you are in need or looking for a good graphic designer, please come introduce yourself to Ted. And then I want to thank Carol Rudy, the wonderful photographer that took some nice campaign shots and who even endured the cold beach in the early morning hours to catch some shots while I was swimming. And I really appreciate you being here today too to capture this moment for me. And my thanks go to everybody else here who worked so hard on my campaign. Your support was really what got me going. Thanks for sharing, my visions and my goals for the Harbor District, and thanks for believing in me. And I promise that I will work diligently now in my new role as Harbor Commissioner to earn the trust that you have already placed in me. And the campaign was fun, and definitely when I look at the slideshow that Jay pulled together for this event, there were a lot of great moments. And it was tough too at times, but in the end the experience was rewarding beyond any measure. And I really, really hope that all you great minds and wonderful people that I met along the way during this campaign, that you guys will stay involved and keep bringing your passion and your energy to the Harbor District, so that we, with our collective talents, that we can together create an environment that will enhance and sustain the harbors. I see many, many opportunities for the Harbor District now, and I do see some challenges too ahead, but I know that with the new direction and with enthusiasm and careful, deliberate, and transparent decision-making, that we can advance the district to where, the viability of the commercial and the sport fishing industry, sustainability, environmental protection, and recreation, that they can all be values that we focus on and prioritize, and I'm very excited to start working on these new opportunities. And the last thing I want to say is that the oath I took today is really not that different from the oath I took a few years back in 2011 when I was sworn in as a U.S. citizen. And that was another big moment in my life, a big exciting day. And back then, I took the oath and committed to being a responsible member of the community. And I was very happy and proud to be welcomed as a U.S. citizen in this country. And today is the moment to give back to the community. And I took the oath of office as an elected official now, promising that I really will work hard and apply my training and experience as a marine biologist and my love and passion that I have for the ocean and San Francisco Bay to promote thriving and safe and clean harbors. And I want to thank you all so much for being here today. It's really your presence here that makes this day very, very special to me. I want to thank Natalie and Carly-Ann from the Half Moon Bay Yacht Club for hosting this event. And I'm totally... I'm very emotional right now, and I feel like I can't thank you enough. So please stick around for a little bit, grab some food, grab a drink, enjoy the beautiful view and the wonderful company here today, and thanks a lot, guys.